Yup. Talking about Dragon Ball Daima. Yeah, forgot. I ain't forgot about it. I just ain't posting in a while. But basically, this video is to say that kind of disappointed with Dragon Ball Daima. It's what would you call it? I think Dragon Ball Daima, in my opinion, has like terrible pacing, and also I don't know like why it's pacing so weirdly. It's so slow. Like every episode, they spend a whole episode with one topic. Don't get me wrong, like it has cool moments like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta was pretty cool to see. I mean, it's always but I don't know what the I wasn't that excited to see Super Saiyan 3 mainly because it doesn't there's already a form after it. It's like but Super Saiyan Blue already exists in our minds, so it's not like we're ever going to see it again. Maybe for this series, but I wasn't really hyped for it. Like I like the design. I do like the designs of Kid Vegeta and Kid Goku, but I don't know what the goal was. I didn't look at Super Saiyan 3 like, oh, a new transformation. I just looked at it as like, oh, it exists now. We're never going to see it again because we already know forms after this do exist. And yes, my biggest criticism with Dragon Dogma 2 is the pacing. I think Dragon Ball Daima has terrible pacing. Terrible. I mean, it's just a whole episode of just chilling, working on a ship, go to another planet. That's all. Like we've had what like 6 episodes of just traveling, and then they have a fight here and there. The fights are pretty cool, but they're too far apart, and they're very predictable because we know they're not going to lose. I'm just not like it's weird because we know nothing's going to happen to the characters, and they spend so much time on it. Like they leave off a cliffhanger with someone getting eaten with by a kraken. I think it was Goku that got eaten by a kraken or Vegeta. It was one of the two, and they left it off on a cliffhanger. Like we don't know they survive. And also another thing that Dragon Ball Daima feels weird. It doesn't feel like an anime. It doesn't. It's not bad, but it feels closer to a Cartoon Network cartoon than it does to an actual anime. Like Dragon Ball GT had an anime vibe with Goku being a kid. Because that's another thing that I found weird about Dragon Ball Daima is that not Goku didn't turn to it. Goku's the only character that turned to a kid, and everybody else is still an adult in a kid's body. He acts so much different than Super and Z. Like he just acts like a kid. Everybody else still has their personality. Like Piccolo, Bulma, even Vegeta, they all act normal. But I don't like the way Goku acts. He acts like I get he's a kid. He is a kid in a body, but he's not a kid in mind. He acts so childish. He doesn't act like this in Z or Super, even in his funny moments. Uh, but it doesn't have like it's not completely bad. That's probably my biggest problem is like this doesn't feel like Dragon Ball Z. It doesn't feel like Dragon Ball, and it doesn't feel like Dragon Ball Z Super. It's closer to something I feel like Cartoon Network would drop. Doesn't mean it's necessarily bad because doesn't like I love Cartoon Network shows when I was younger. Also, like it feels closer to like Pokemon. Pokemon is an anime, yes, but it doesn't have that. What would you say? Like not 18. I feel like Dragon Ball Z has always been like a 16 plus TV show. This feels like a 10 plus TV show. I can't really take it seriously. And is Dragon Ball right off the bat from what I've watched? Is Dragon Ball Daima better than GT? No, I don't think Dragon Ball Daima is even close to GT so far. Nothing in Dragon Ball Daima. Kid Goku in GT has a better fit. Kid Goku in GT has a better attitude. I liked Vegeta in GT better. The villains in GT. Well, we haven't got to a major villain in Dragon Ball Daima. We don't even know who the villain. I mean, I guess we do know who the villain is. It's that short dude. but we don't even know what he's doing. We don't even know what his goals is. This I would say one thing this show does do better than GT is world building. Granted, because they expanded the universe, which is another thing I don't understand, is how this universe existed and it doesn't exist in Super. That's another thing. Like, they're introducing so many things in this show that don't exist in Super, or Piccolo or the Supreme Kai have never brought up in Z. To the point you're wondering, like, do they just get their memory wiped at the end of this show, or do this universe get erased? There's a whole other universe that exists, and it's never ever been announced in Super, where they were literally announcing every universe ever. Like, does this place even have a God of Destruction? So many questions to be answered. That's the problem with making a show set before Super and set after Z. The animation's obviously a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I don't have no problem with the animation at all. It's actually pretty good all the way through. Uh, fight scenes, fight scenes are probably solid 8 out of 10. But yeah, that's probably my biggest problem with Dragon Ball Diamond. It just doesn't feel like Dragon Ball Z. And I wouldn't say like, am I disappointed? Yeah, I kind of am disappointed. I don't think like my expectations for this was pretty high. I don't think it's better than Super so far. I don't think it's better than GT. I don't think it's better than Z or Dragon Ball. I just think it's all right. It's a good show. It's nothing crazy. I don't think it'd be and it's also, yeah, we got to give it time. It's not done yet. But 13 episodes in, I'm not feeling good about the show. I'm only watching it because it's Dragon Ball Z. I have a feeling like if this wasn't attached to Dragon Ball Z, or let's say this didn't exist, if Z didn't exist and Super didn't exist, or GT, if this was your first introduction to an anime, Dragon Ball Daima, I feel like it's not worth watching. I feel like a lot of people who are watching Dragon Ball Daima, even me included, I'm watching it because it's Dragon Ball Z and it's connected to my favorite anime of all time. But that's like the only thing that's keeping me watching. If it wasn't connected to anything, I'd probably just drop it because it's not that crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's probably unpopular. I'm pretty sure a lot of people love Dragon Ball Daima as an anime. I mean, I'm still watching it. I've watched every episode. I'm see it through. It's not terrible to watch. It's just that I was disappointed. I had my expectations probably too high. But yeah, that's it. Peace. That's the video and goodbye.